Hey, look.
Wow, Wes. Wow.
Way to start out the day.
Is that how it's going? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Youtini Show, your one-stop shop for all things going on in Star Wars. I'm Eric here with our temporary producer, Wes, and Oz. We got a lot to get into tonight because, y'all, this week, Mark Hamill gave Luke a dark alternate past. Inkstone revealed their stunning Sanctuary edition. The Star Wars Galaxy map hit and broke the entire internet. And guess what? It's Star Wars Unlimited pre-release week, which we're very excited to talk about. But starting us off tonight, Mark Hamill, possibly the most famous face in all of Star Wars, has been on the media trail lately promoting his new film, The Life of Chuck, which I actually did see last week and I loved it. And while appearing on Bullseye with Jesse Thorne, he revealed that he actually made up his own headcanon for Luke while filming The Last Jedi. With the permission of director Rian Johnson, Hamill came up with the idea that Luke fell in love, had a child, and ended up losing both the child and his wife, which caused the exile in the first place. He then went on to clarify his feelings on working with Johnson. But before we get to all that, what do you guys think about Mark coming up with his own internal story ideas in the first place? Does this seem weird or out of character at all to you guys?
It just seems odd that maybe not odd, but it just seems different that he would actually have a answer to the question. Like, because a lot of the times he's just like, it's just a bunch of stories, everybody. You don't need to go that far into it. And then he actually has his own rendition of what happened. So I think it's a little strange, but why not? I mean, he has time to think about it. So
yeah, like he answered it like an actor properly.
Yeah.
Right, like I feel like most actors do this kind of prep work for roles, and then it doesn't matter because that's not on screen. But if it helps them get in character, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. And like, and this is the whole like Star Wars microscope thing, right? Like Kathy Kennedy always said, you know, Star Wars is put under such a level of scrutiny other things aren't. Like everyone has things in and out of production, but we get the rumors. And I think Mark Hamill's like, yeah, I have an idea for Luke that's different than the one I got, but it helped me get into the character. And because Canon is so beloved, and obviously, like, let's just address the elephant in the room. The Last Jedi, anything you can make a talking point out of to make some story beat feel not exact, the internet will pounce on, which of course they did. And watching that happen this weekend was interesting because there were kind of two sides of the internet, and they were both very intense. There was no real middle ground on this. One side, you had everyone say, okay, Luke falling in love makes total sense. It's very Mara Jade. Oh my God, it's where it should have gone. The kid dying. Oh, it's so brutal. Like, it's so intense. Disney is boring. That. The other side goes like, okay, well, bringing in like a wife character to have her die off screen and then a child picking up Luke's lightsaber and killing itself with it is just not remotely Star Wars. It's just gross and like he shouldn't have said this and he's old school and blah blah blah. Like, I guess let's take the idea of him coming up with a story out of it for a second. 'Cause I think we all agreed pretty instantly that's fine. Who cares? He's Mark Hamill. Give him some respect. Let him do his process.
Yeah.
What do you think about the story of Luke leaving the Jedi because of love, having a kid? The kid kills himself with a lightsaber. The wife then, and he did say this, like the wife then killed herself in grief. And then he left, like, compared to the more emotionally complex deal of, like, you know, possibly betraying Ben and stuff. Which story do you think, if you were just in a vacuum, hits you harder?
I think it tracks, I guess, with his father Anakin kind of doing not this exact same thing, but they were trained when they were a little older. They both fell in love, I guess. And in this instance, Luke fell in love, and so he had that dark backstory. But so him actually falling in love and leaving the Jedi, it tracks in a way. It could have been the same with Anakin. He fell in love with Padme, obviously, and he left the Jedi, become a Sith. But he also could have left the Sith, like he said, to rule the world, like he tried to persuade his wife to do, but that did not happen. But I think it tracks. If it was
you talked about that, like he asked her if he could invest in crypto. You're like, he's like, I just asked my wife and she just said no.
Said no.
And we could have ruled the world.
That's like a lower bad than that.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities for that to be an actual story. But it's also a PSA moment for locking up your firearms and/or lightsabers.
I was gonna say this. Like, is this a commentary on gun control?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Oz, you are a father who lives in Texas. How would this story have hit you?
I mean, one, I don't own any guns. I am not the West version of Texan.
That's true. I'm surrounded by Texans on
Yeah,
this show for the first time.
I mean, stepping back a second, I do not care, and this is not about Mark Hamill. I do not care about this discourse in general. We're at what, 8 years since The Last Jedi. I think it's tiresome.
Wow, yeah.
Also, like, I think the story could be fine. I'll say that. I think this could work. We got somewhat of a version of that in a way in like Inquisitor: Rise of the Red Blade. We see,
pull.
Thank you. We see Iskat's mother kill herself. I think is what happened. Spoiler, sorry for a few-year-old book.
It's in the author's note, kind of, though, in the beginning of that book. They do. It is. If you haven't read Rise of the Red Blade and you read the author's note, and it's this kind of giant thing that there's like a potential suicide, self-harm, and it's very technically handled.
But then a content warning.
Yeah, it's a content warning. The entire time you're reading that book, though, you're just waiting for suicide. It's a very weird reading experience. I like that book a lot, but it was a very odd thing to read first.
Yeah, that's terrible anticipation.
It's not a huge story point.
I love that book, despite it being the book.
Oh no, it's really good.
So I think the story could work. I mean, it's one that could be told well. It's one that could be really trash. The thing is, like, anytime an alternate story pitch comes out, people are like, see, this would have been so much better. You see the same thing with whatever Duel of the Fates,
yeah.
Colin Trevorrow pitch that is just, it's so bare bones that there's nothing to it that you can latch onto whatever you want.
There's good pieces.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe it would
that
be
audio
good.
drama thing they made of it. Ray and Poe kiss, though. No one mentions that. That's in there. It's
all
weird.
Right, now I'm into it. It
definitely happened.
No, this is just like the most annoying version of discourse. I think Mark Hamill's great. Again, I don't think he's the one fueling this, and I think that's why he regrets it. He's like, I have my opinion, but like, I don't like what it's become.
Yeah.
He
was answering a question on watch the Lord of the Rings behind the scenes. Like, this is every movie. People talk like this.
Anytime someone brings up Jake Skywalker, I'm just like, dude, shut up. Because, like, also, no offense to him or any other actor, like, being the actor doesn't mean you know the storytelling or even the character better, because that's not your job. Some actors are very good storytellers. I don't know that he's ever written a movie, so I can't comment on that. But yeah, I mean, whatever, this will come again in a couple months, another version of this, and we'll be here until the end of time doing this for these movies or the next trilogy, whatever.
Well, I like that you mentioned, his storytelling ability versus, say, that of Rian Johnson, because that was also the whole reason he told this story, because he also had a lot of quotes about Rian saying that he was, quote, one of the most gifted directors I've ever worked with, and he made a great movie. He said, I'm just going to read a couple direct quotes from Mark Curie, because I think he said it perfectly. He said, the fact that I went public with my dissatisfaction with the motivation for Luke becoming a suicidal hermit might have colored things in a way that maybe I should have kept to myself. This is talking about, like, right before the movie came out. He was like, I disagree with some things. And he's like, oh, media training. That's just like pure. Mark Hamill, if you all don't remember, before the sequel trilogy, he did a lot of animated work, was doing a lot. He had not really been in front of cameras and microphones answering big questions for many years. And I think that, especially with social media, he says, maybe I should have kept that to myself. And then he ended by saying, quote, the only thing unfortunate about that is I've heard comments from fans who think that I somehow dislike Rian Johnson, and nothing could be further from the truth. And I think this is just a very earnest dude. Mark Hamill's a very earnest dude, right? He's always been that with the fans. He's always just been exactly who he is. And he's like, listen, I thought about this. Here's a cool story idea I had, but I'm an actor and I did the job. I think Rian did a great job with the film, and I'm sad that my comments exploded in a way that I wish they wouldn't have, because again, he is. Hold on, Mark Hamill. What did you say, Oz? It's 8 years since Last
Yeah.
Jedi, right?
Yeah,
He's
so
73 now. He was 60. He was mid 60s, and when that came out, sound bites, Twitter, YouTube Shorts, like shorts weren't a thing yet. You know,
Well-
TikTok wasn't a thing yet. Like,
You're right.
But
He didn't
there was
realize how much gasoline he put on that fire just
Yeah.
by him
different.
speaking
it's also so
about
funny
it.
to me because anytime then he says something positive, people are like, "Oh, well, Disney told him to shut up." I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, he's 65. He's done with Star Wars because guess what? His character died.
yeah.
They don't really have power over him. He's not a big time working actor. He just came back for Luke. Like,
Also, he's Mark Hamill. Like,
yeah,
I don't
If
think
they
you gotta
want
worry
Luke,
about like
they'll
Mark
get him.
Hamill and Harrison Ford and you know, back in the day, I made sure rest in peace, Carrie, like they said what they said what they thought.
this is
You
my
know what I
chance
mean?
to shout out Carrie Fisher's Twitter account. Please dig
Oh,
through the archives. It's
bless.
amazing. Her emoji usage is unparalleled.
It's like she's like for all the sports fans, very very Cam Newton-esque
she's
in
wild.
her emojiing, but she was great, and I'm glad we brought this up just for like you're so right, Oz. The discourse is going to keep on going, and I have a lot of respect for many people that work on Star Wars. Honestly, I think that it's a very hard thing to do. I think you're very scrutinized with everything you say, but especially for people like Mark, I think he did a really wonderful job in this interview. It's a great full interview. It's 45 minutes, which of course, you know, it's not a sexy minute soundbite, but it's a 45-minute interview. And he does a very great job sticking to his guns and being like, yeah, I came up with this because it helped me as an actor. That being said, the art is still great and the artist was wonderful. And I'm sad. I'm sorry that got conflated. Like,
Yeah.
I have so much respect for hey, this guy misinterpreted from what I said. I still believe this. Like, it's very measured and it's not as sexy as it seems.
Yeah, that's what worked for him, right? I mean, who are you to tell him that what he's supposed to feel to get him into the mood for the role or the right mindset for the role? So, I mean, when you think about it, it works. Like, he's got to be real pissed off and standoffish, like in that entire sequence of events. So, I mean, that's a good way to put it. My wife and kid are dead. That's why I'm upset. Like,
Yep.
Also, I mean, can you imagine now if they went back and added that into his canon and book? Like, oh
Yeah.
my god.
Oh, by the way, well, you know what? Here's my other hot take. If they do, and it's done well, okay. Like,
yeah, I don't know. That would think about how mad people were that like Anakin had a secret Padawan we didn't know about. This is
oh my god.
levels beyond that.
No, I only don't like it because it would be, again, in modern storytelling, it's introducing a female character for the sole purpose of dying in order to make a man sad. Like, that's just, we've done that. It's played out. Internally, if you want to use that to make yourself good to a certain place, because like I'm sure Mark was thinking of like, oh, if I need to feel sad, what if I lost my wife and son? Like, he's a father. Like, great. That's a great tool, like you said, Oz, as an actor tool to get there. Like, I'm sure that worked very well. It showed on screen. He gave a wonderful performance. But yeah, all in all, love Mark very dearly. Love that he's still acting. Seriously, guys, Life of Chuck, so good. He is in it. He plays a grandfather of the main character ish. And it's really a heart-wrenching, beautiful performance by Mark. Something you haven't really seen him do to that extent. So if you have an indie theater next to you, or let's be real, it's going to be on streaming in like 30 days. Definitely check out The Life of Chuck. And I can't wait to see Mark in 2 years. Right? There's no way he's not going to be in LA, right?
Oh yeah.
For the 50th?
Come on.
Like,
what if he's not? What if he's like, nah, I've had my tour.
Wes, not to be too into that guy, there's one reason he wouldn't be, and I don't want to think about that, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Only one
I didn't
reason.
say that, Eric. You just said that. I didn't say that. It's like, you know what Wes said 2 years ago?
Guys,
yeah, it's
remember
good.
when Wes said that?
I mean, if we're being honest, John Williams is the bigger worry.
That's
no,
true.
I
That's
don't
true.
think that's
No, I mean, think about our coping mechanism throughout Japan Celebration was like, okay, well, there's not as many guests this time, but in 2027, they're all gonna be there, and like,
Yeah.
we'll be fine. Yeah, if they don't all show up, it's gonna be so depressing.
I think here's the fun idea. Kathy is basically like, I'm out at the end of this year. I got a blank check, do whatever I want. Anyone I want. Harrison, Mark, well, he's like,
Well, I
whatever
think
you
the
guys
issue is
want, I'll
more
pay.
if they want to come.
Yeah. Like, what if they're like, nah?
Mark will do it.
I think
Yeah.
Harrison will too. I think honestly, like, for the 50th anniversary, Like, if you've seen Harrison Ford in the shrinking panels that he's done, he's actually a very a very emotional, in touch with his castmates kind of guy. And I think if they're like, hey, I mean, he was there at Anaheim.
Yeah, he just doesn't really like Han Solo that much. If it was
that's
an Indiana
fine.
Jones panel, he'd be fired up.
Oh man, he loved that.
Get Billy Lord to dress up like her mom. Like, make it fun.
Oh yeah, and George will be there too. I guarantee. Like,
that's a tough. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Well, we'll be there. I already started saving.
Yeah.
But then you got me into Star Wars Unlimited, which made it harder, which we'll get into later on. But before we get there, oh God, it's all I think about nowadays. But before we get there, we do want to take a quick second to let y'all know that this episode is brought to you by the United, the official Youtini community. By joining the United, you'll not only receive ad-free shows and exclusive merch drops, you'll also get unlimited access to our Discord, full of enthusiastic Star Wars fans and Unlimited players that want nothing more than to welcome you and to make you spend your money. Filled with daily conversations, weekly polls, and monthly events, the United is powered by a community of intentional positivity, and that makes it the best place for you to celebrate your fandom and engage with fans who love everything you do the way that you do. Now, by heading to youtini.com/community, you can sign up for a whole year of the United and save 15% when you use code Youtini Show. That's one word, code Youtini Show, 15% off your first year of the United. So head on over now and get signed up to check out our amazing events and connect with your favorite podcast hosts, including Oz of the Cosmic Force. Thank you again to everyone in our community for their incredible support. And now, back to the show. Now, we at Youtini started way back in the day as a book box company, and we've kept that love for books all these years, especially when they receive awesome, pretty new editions. Last week, Inkstone revealed that Sanctuary, the upcoming Bad Batch novel, will be receiving their exclusive treatment with a stunning edition that features sprayed edges with the helmets of the members, as well as case foiling of the Marauder under the dust jacket. So, guys, before we get into the book itself, what do we think of this new look? How does it compare with, previous exclusives that we've seen?
It's dope.
Yeah, the pictures.
It's dope.
The pictures that they depict of each one of the characters in the actual pages is super badass. So I will pull up a full image of this actually, so you can so you can see it.
Let's check this
what
out.
We're talking about here. So yeah, this is the. What am I looking at? And on the right, is that the? Oh, that's without the dust jacket. Okay,
exactly.
I see. Okay,
so the left is so the dust jacket's gonna be the same as you get on your regular hardcover. With the cover reveal we did a few months back, it's an awesome cover. Honestly, we've had a couple stinkers in the past couple of years. This thing absolutely rocks. And then underneath though is what Inkstone does especially well. They usually get a lot of case foiling. Like with Plagueis, I think it was a lightsaber. They do those things, but this is like a whole Starfield and the Marauder ship, which I think looks really slick.
I am a huge. Well, I don't know. I'm going to say this because this is definitely like a money grab kind of thing. So I love that you can have your regular novels set out for we'll call it $30 for a hardcover and say $20 for a paperback, $15 for a paperback. But then they have these special edition ones, and they're just like perfect to display. And it's almost like you don't want to open it to crease it anywhere. You just want to keep it closed and just say that you have it. You don't want to get dust on it. That's what dust jacket's for, I guess. But you can get. But I love that they have. It's almost like they immortalize the actual book itself with these special edition covers, and I think that's really cool. And I like how they go back years and years from even some of the first canon books and make those, even like some of the legend stuff, and they make those they're not necessarily what do you call them? Not omnibuses, but they put more than one story in, like the Han Solo.
The trilogy.
Oh yeah,
the trilogy one.
Noble edition, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like how they're doing that. But I also they're like $50 a pop. I'm not sure how much this one is, but
22 pounds, which I think is roughly, I don't know, it's somewhere between
$1,000?
$20 and $80. Yeah, who's to say?
It's probably it's about right? It's probably about $50.
It's $30. Yeah, $30
okay.
plus shipping. They're a UK-based company. But yeah, it's
shipping is surprisingly not too bad to the United States.
That's true.
I got my last few mailed to my sister who lives in the UK, and one of them arrived today, and the bummer on that is I save a few bucks, but I don't get them until she comes to visit me. So,
you buy, of course, like Wes said, you buy your regular copy anyway to read. So then the other one you're displaying, and Inkstone is is really interesting because if you look at their Star Wars page on their site, you know, they do a lot of the Essential Legends collections lately. They all sell out, also, which is great.
That is good.
Yeah, actually, Brett the Owner is a really amazing dude. And
Dude,
you
that
can
was
kinda
such a
see them-
sick name drop.
Yeah, Brett, my buddy. No, he's a great guy. But I love what they do as you can kind of see the artistic process grow as they go on. Because like the Legends ones have the kind of regular sprayed edges, like Plagueis is red, Death Troopers is that kind of gray, Vader
Yeah,
Rise is
So,
is
well, I'm
black.
just gonna cut in here because we are
Do
a
it.
video podcast, and I've got here.
Hey!
This is the Living Forest. There
Awesome.
used to be another podcast called that. I love this one
hypothetically.
with the simple Jedi crest, and it has green edges, which I actually kind of like. The just plain rather than getting crazy. I think the helmets look really cool. Mask of Fear. This one actually I think was Goldsboro. They're now like in a war of attrition of like just both going harder and harder.
Yeah.
I like the hyperspace cover. This
Oh,
I still can't decide how I feel. And then I got actually today from Goldsboro the Wayseeker, which it says
Whoa.
Wayseeker in Arbesh. I'm not as crazy about the I don't know. Also, they messed up their printing and it didn't get the foiling on the cover, so it's just a plain cover.
That's
Sorry,
a
my
bummer.
camera's mirrored. I'm not used to that, but it's still cool. It is a book I have not read yet. Mask of Fear and Living Force. I love those books, so I'm really happy.
Yeah, those books are fantastic. That's the thing. I've made the mistake once or twice of pre-ordering an exclusive edition of a book without reading it, and I have not liked it. But I did this with a book called The Sword of Kaigan, which is a fantasy novel everyone told me that I would love, and I ordered an exclusive edition, and I didn't. I ended up not finishing the book, but then I like did the horrible thing. I think tripled my money on it when I sold it. So
That's nothing horrible about that.
yeah,
baby.
you know what? Like we intend to keep them. But if you gotta get rid of them, someone else will love it. But I'm excited for this particular edition. I think Sanctuary sounds interesting. But I gotta ask you guys on this particular book. You know, I think we're gonna get more of these editions going through. Clearly, they're all selling out. So like Star Wars fans at least want this limited stock, which is great. This book coming out a year and a half after season 3 ends, that takes place in the middle of the series because like obviously. I'll spoil this for now. You know, Tech's on the cover and in the book, and they're on Pabu after like a disaster. What do you guys think about the choice of setting for this book now? Because we're gonna get a ramp up to it, but obviously Star Wars does books in between events all the time. But I don't know. For this particular series, it felt like it was so tight. How are they gonna keep the tension in this book when we have seen the whole thing a year ago?
I don't know. I mean, have you watched the Clone Wars?
No, I don't know. It seems. What does Wrecker have a fake Padawan? Is that what
I'm just saying, like the Clone Wars. I know it's a show, not a book, but it's in between episodes 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I know Anakin is going to turn into Darth Vader, and he doesn't die, so who cares? I don't care. That's what. I mean, I could
Great
look over
point.
the shelf. How many of these books fit in between 2 events?
Yeah.
I know this is like, this is a TV show, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
There were some junior novels that took place in between some episodes of Star Wars Rebels. I don't know if you've read those.
Oh, what are those called? What are those?
Servants of the Empire, I believe.
Those good? Are those
Yeah.
good? For those that may not have
I got an idea.
known Oz, listen to Oz, felt Oz's aura in the world. Unironically, the biggest Servants of the Empire fan I know. I'll give you the floor. Why should people read Servants of the Empire? They're like,
Oh, because it's good.
Yeah.
Also, we being me and a few of the other Youtini guys, including Corey, have a special edition of that book that I made myself. It's really good. If you like Rebels, there is an episode I think called Rebel in the Ranks, maybe from season 1 or 2. It stars Zara Leonis as Ezra is like going undercover in the Imperial Army, and there's a little short little 4-book young reader series that takes place around that episode, following Zara Leonis, and it's really fun. It's like we joked that it's kind of like the kids version of Andor. This was back before Andor season 2 happened, so it's not that hard.
It doesn't go that deep. Hold on.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's
kids
just
are
really,
okay.
it's a really solid series. It's by Jason Fry. So if you're a long time Star Wars book reader, you know his name.
Yeah.
Check it out. We somewhere, I don't know where these are kept nowadays. There's a round table that we did of it. Somewhere on our website.
Yeah.
And
You can
Timothy
find it.
And Trevor and Jose did, and I feel like there was someone else. Eric was supposed to be there, but he didn't finish the books.
Yeah, straight up, and I'm like, I can't fake it that well.
Oh, Tardy, you showed up for the
Dude,
test and you didn't
it
even
was
do your
rough,
homework.
It was not good. I own it. It was not. I zarely own it that I did not finish the
That's
books.
fine. But it also means he didn't get one of his own copies of the book.
I know that was. I didn't know there was a prize. But if you have Hoopla, funny enough, in your local library, the ebooks can actually be borrowed instantaneously, which is how I could have read it for free instantly, and I just didn't do it. So
yeah,
the more fool I. But hilariously, I love that you mentioned author Jason Fry there, because that does tie in to our next story of the night, because our next story is admittedly a bit of an odd one, because it very nearly broke the Star Wars internet this week. Seemingly out of nowhere, StarWars.com updated their cartography page with a full galaxy map. Now, while you can't just click on planets for info, the map is pretty interactive, with the ability to zoom in and pan around the entire thing for the first time. Author Jason Fry put up a Substack post explaining a bit about the future of the map. But before we go into those details, guys, the question that has plagued me all week, because we tweeted about this, it's one of our most popular tweets we've literally ever had. I had to mute it. Why are Star Wars fans so obsessed with the galaxy map? I have to know. It doesn't change that much.
People like
Why?
detail. People like detail.
People like to visualize where everything occurs. And I think like reviewing the map itself is like, okay, so they were here in, let's say, Attack of the Clones. And then they were here in Revenge of the Sith. This is where Mustafar is. This is where Alderaan is. Okay, now this makes a lot. It doesn't really make a lot of sense because that's light years away, like the distances from these planets or whatever. But I mean, I think it's fun to bitch about every time it comes up. Every time it comes up.
There it is. It is. Because it is the joy of finding little inconsistencies, which I think is actually a very core nerd principle in the most non-toxic way possible.
Wow.
I think there is a lot of like fun to be had in that, and there is a part of that in the Galaxy map, which we'll get to in a second. But I think it is fun to put those pieces together. Like there's such a big part in the Phantom Menace, right? When they're leaving with Padme, and they're like, okay, we can't go back to Coruscant. Where do we go? Tatooine is the closest we can go. And then you go on the map and you're like, there's tons of other planets I thought they could have gone to.
Yeah, that's what
I
read.
guess they just happened to go. So it's like, why was this thing? Like, how did that actually work? And then you have what my biggest thing is, why I earnestly like the map, visualizing what in the world is the outer rim and the mid rim and the core. Because every planet apparently in Star Wars is the outer rim, even though none of them are apparently important. Like the amount of stuff that happens in the outer rim is insane until you look at the map and you're like, oh no, like it is mostly outer rim.
Yeah.
So I did appreciate that.
I mean, think how big Canada is. That's basically
Ugh.
the rim. I gotta.
Canada is the outer rim of Star Wars.
Way to go, Oz.
That's the whole thing.
I mean, you know what the most popular page on Youtini's site is, right?
Oh,
Tell
yes.
me.
It's the timeline.
The timeline, yeah, it's got
by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, like not even close. So shout out Trev. This is that same principle that just people like nitty gritty details.
Yep.
I mean, I will admit, I think the map is super fun to look at. I love stuff like that. I also do not care in the sense of like,
Sorry about that.
What?
oh, is that the Oz doesn't care alarm?
No.
Yeah.
I wanted to pull up
ready.
the map just to see how dense it is with planets,
take a
especially
look,
the
take a
outer
look.
rim. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, when people are like, oh, well, why did it take, however long it took in Empire Strikes Back, which is a whole nother discussion point, for them to fly to Cloud City? I don't care, because the story said so, and George Lucas was not consulting this map, which at the time didn't exist. It is very fun that they put this stuff together, and when it lines up nicely, and it actually is surprisingly rigid.
Yes,
I will say, but also I don't really care. I just like to look at it.
Yeah, I like that it exists. They handed it out as a poster at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, and I loved having that.
When did they
Jason
do
Fry-
that?
And in
It was
Anaheim.
at the Delray booth because
Kristen Baver was
Jason Fry, Kristen Baver, and Horton, I think, all signed it.
Yeah.
They were promoting timelines.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a version
Makes
of
sense.
timelines, which we don't need to get into that has the older map of this in the back.
Yeah.
Timeline's a fantastic reference.
Fantastic reference book. And
if you like things like that, visualizations, go buy that book. There might be a version at your Costco for cheaper than I paid on eBay. This is really cool.
Yeah, I really like that it exists, and it makes sense to have it online, also as a living document, because, previously you can get these in the front of reference books. I just did a review this week of the Acolyte Visual Guide that actually has a new one in the front of that. But the only downside of that is that because there's so much detail in it, a lot of times you have to split it up into 4 different pages, so you can't really get one good look at it. Or if it is a look, it's a little too big for you to look at in a book. So having it on the computer, being able to scroll around is really great. But as some people noticed, which is why, honestly, our tweet popped off, there's a lot of planets missing. And this is actually intentional. Camino is not on the map. And I was like, oh my God, what happened? And then I went to Jason Fry's Substack, because he was one of the main people that did it. And he said this. I'll just quote him verbatim. He said, "We've also taken some star systems out of the appendix and moved them to an internal unlisted section. There's nothing mysterious about this. It's for systems known by code names, such as Futility Station and Havoc Outpost, that are extragalactic, such as Camino and Peridia, or that lack defined coordinates, mostly in the unknown regions. These systems still exist in lore, they're just no longer listed here." And then he actually puts up a whole full list about it, which I found interesting, that, there's internal lore, why the external lore happens in a certain way, and they also mentioned that it's most storytelling after early 2024 is not on here. So if it came out basically after the Bad Batch Season 3, it's there's some Acolyte stuff that's not on here, I think. I don't know if Skeleton Crew stuff's on here yet. But they do say that it's going to be continuously updated. And for everyone on Twitter that was angry, and I saw you, I muted it, but I checked. You can, quote, if you see an omission or mistake, you can email essential.atlas@gmail.com. That's essential.atlas@gmail.com to let them know if you see an error. Now, read the Substack post before you do that. We put an article on the site. We linked it through there. Go check it out. There are reasons that your planet might be listed. Make sure that you know that. But I find it interesting, and I think that now that this page exists, I don't know, it feels like, at Youtini, like you said, the timeline is our most visited page because we do update it with every release. Every time a piece of media comes out, the timeline is updated. Even though you may not be seeing every insider short story adjustment, the back end of Youtini is filled with timeline updates every single time something comes out.
And
I'm excited to see that happen
in between then.
Yeah.
Trev is constantly doing that.
He's tweaking and tweaking. We've had a couple of articles come out lately of his process. Go check those out. They're really fascinating reads, quite honestly. Trev's mind is as amazing as it is horrifying. But I think the map, I hope will do the same. And I don't know, I want to see... I want to see the storm wall. The storm wall is in the Acolyte Visual Guide on the map.
I thought that was crazy.
That was crazy.
I didn't expect that because it has nothing to do with the show. The show takes place 100 years later.
Yep.
And yet they included it. It also, they should have put that in Trials of the Jedi, because a lot of people were like, there's the whole 1,000 Years of Peace thing. How does the storm wall coincide with that? It's because the storm wall wasn't shit, dude. It was so small.
Dude, it's so hold on. Let me grab it.
It's it holds a lot of planets. They talk about Naboo and Ariadu and all these other planets in it. But Eric's going to show it here, and if you're listening on audio, just Google it. It does not take up a large portion of space. No. I do believe it happens in the Outer Rim.
Yeah, so this is the top half of the map, right? No storm wall at all. Top of it's not there.
That's where you've got your Coruscants, your whatever else is in the.
All right. Storm wall, you see that little red thing in the bottom corner? That's it. That's the whole storm wall. Whole galaxy, storm wall. It's and it's very odd because I'll be honest. I'm glad I didn't see that until after I read Trials of the Jedi, which, by the way, review up now. It's a masterpiece, incredible book. I think I might have taken the wind out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like the Jedi are like, we need to stop this. The galaxy will never. Like most of the galaxy had no idea any of this was going on. You know?
I mean, I think we could find some real world parallels to that, where there's small skirmishes that take up a lot of news.
Oof! Yeah. Yeah, we could. You know
Note
what?
that
That's a great point.
I am not downplaying the size of any conflict. I
No,
said small skirmishes. That was just
I
a
think
choice of words.
I think you actually earnestly by making that point, I think you actually make the opposite inference. I think that's actually a great point that they can actually like when you're part of a universe or a world, like it does affect a lot. Like, dang. Okay, never mind. Oz, that made me feel.
Yeah, see, I'm
changed the
actually
story
really
back.
smart.
It's so disarming because you really try to pretend you're not, which is horrifying.
On the note of maps and stuff, did y'all ever
Yeah.
were y'all ever into this book called The Way Things Work? Wes, you're of a similar age to.
I'm
to
Googling it. Hold on.
It's one of those kind of like incredible cross sections type
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
And it was sort of, I don't know if narrated. There was a mammoth that was the kind of lead creature leading you through the inner workings of a bunch of machines. There was also a CD-ROM version of it that in the mid 90s I devoured. I think people just like to see how the sausage is made. So to speak. That's one thing people really don't want to know about, but they like to see how these things work.
Yes. And like in Star Wars, I think because it's such a rich tapestry of lore and mythology, it's one of the reasons we all fell in love with it in the first place. Like, yes, the story is great. Yes, the characters are great. Sure. But there's a reason why like I have 3 tattoos on my arm about it. Like there's a reason that we're about to talk about the thousands of dollars I was about to make us all spend on a card game about it. Like it's not because of just the Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. It's because we saw Tatooine and like we found it was a cool sand planet. And then later on, we saw Tatooine and we're like, oh, there's cool creatures here. And then a couple years later, we saw Tatooine. And we're like, what else can happen on this planet? And then about 15 years later, we saw Tatooine.
You practiced that bit, didn't you?
I did, but it made Wes laugh, which is all I try to do every single week. No, like there's legitimately so many worlds to it. And my dream for this page, and again, there's so much complexity that goes into making these web pages that we just click on and go away from. I know that. I hope that one day it becomes so interactive that you can do like the, drag your mouse over, click on it, a little data bank comes up of the planet.
That'd be cool.
Again, I think that's a lot of work. I hope that we do get it though, because that would be, you want to talk about the hours you can spend on it just looking at dots? Oh man, if you add little fun facts, I am done for.
Also, Eric did mention Jason Fry's Substack. I have been a subscriber to his Substack for a while now, partially because, and I swear this is not intentional, he did some fantastic write-ups on his Servants of the Empire series. But he chimes in every once in a while, and it's actually more often about the Mets than it is about Star Wars. But sometimes there's
I love those Substacks. When Kevin Scott talks about like the cool bookstores he goes to in Edinburgh, that's what I want to read. I love your stuff, Cav, but like, that's great.
He's writing about baseball, which is a sport I barely follow, and it's the Mets, which is a team I don't care about at all, but he's a good writer because, he's a writer. So it's fun to read. And he's just talking about stuff. And it's a good read, so check it out. Also, you mentioned Trev. Trev has a Substack where
Trev absolutely does.
That stuff is unfiltered, so be careful.
Yeah, we do publish.
His brain.
I will say the stuff that we publish on the site about Trev's timeline stuff is word for word from his Substack.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's kind of stuff you like, that's the kind of vibe. I do make it. I bold and put pictures in and make it like a little easier to traverse. But if you want unfiltered Trevor Davey, and believe me, if you ever met him, you do. It's really lovely. Go get some Substacks. That's what we're going to do on this show. Listen, we thank you for watching and listening to us. Go read other people's stuff because it's really, really interesting. And go check out the map page if you haven't. Again, we put up a whole write-up on the site about it. Click on the picture of Jocasta Nu on the article and go check out the Star Wars map page.
I still don't know why they left out Camino. Why did they do that?
I just said, Wes.
It's
extra galactic.
Come on.
But I don't get extra galactic in that term. Obi-Wan flew. He didn't have to ride a Purgle. That
I don't know.
I know that I know that like, oh, Lost a Planet Master Kenobi has. How embarrassing. Like
If you email essential.atlas@gmail.com,
Okay, you're right.
I gotta say though, I will. This is my prediction. Jason Fry, if this is true, let us know. 70% of the emails in the first week were about Camino.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Oh,
I'm not
And
alone.
probably low ball.
yeah, sure. And I
Yeah.
think that within the I don't know how often they update it. I was gonna say within the month. Within the first 2 updates, Camino will be back.
Yeah,
Is my
it's
assumption.
70% Camino and it's 15% just rants about what Mark Hamill said on that podcast.
That's it. Why are there sequel planets? That's not canon.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh goodness. Well, speaking of Markion Rowe, believe it or not, that does connect. Because finally tonight, everybody, we have to continue discussing our latest obsession around here. It's Star Wars Unlimited time. If you don't know about this game and you don't care, have a great night. May the Force be with you. But next week, the 5th set of this game, Legends of the Force, officially comes out. But that means this week we'll hold some pre-release events. These are events where you can visit your local game shop, get a special box to build a small deck right there in the shop, and win some prizes. Me and Corey personally have 2 pre-release events scheduled for this week, but Oz, you are, as we heard last week, the person that started to get us all into this. You, Jacob, Caleb have been so instrumental on it. I know you got some pre-release stuff coming up too, so let's let you shine here. Starting out, how are you feeling about this new set that's coming up as like a veteran player? Or no, take the floor.
I have a correction to issue from last week's show.
Excellent.
And I think the whole reason that Corey is not here is because he's scared to show his face.
Oh, that is true. Absolutely.
Yeah. So y'all were discussing Star Wars Unlimited last week.
Yep.
And Corey said, Wes, go ahead and roll the clip. We prepared that, right?
Damn it. Give me
yeah.
about 15.
No, you asked, how did we get into Star Wars Unlimited? And Corey said, it's a good question. I would like to think that I played somewhat of a part in this. Maybe this is incredibly narcissistic, but somehow sucking everybody into all my hobbies is one of my superpowers. It's like the last domino to fall for everyone else to get it. Corey, no, wrong. I know he did then give me and Jacob a cursory mention, but Jacob and I have been playing this game weekly for a year, and like every time new cards get revealed, we post them and we're like, y'all need to play, y'all need to play, y'all need to play. I have mailed cards to several people, including Corey, which he didn't mention that. I sent him several hundred cards, so I'll take them back, dude.
Hey, whoa.
Take him back.
You already said off air if he doesn't want them, they go to me.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and don't get me. And y'all were playing Star Wars Unlimited at UtiniCon, correct? At the kitchen table, is that right? Or is that something else?
That was when I bought it.
Okay.
Was for that, me and Caleb and Steven had talked about getting into it. I don't think we ever actually ended up playing it. We kind of like learned it, but we were busy doing other stuff. So then I went home and I went to a local game store, played it, fell in love, and now here I am. And so yes, I've put a lot of hard work into getting these people to play it. And Corey, I think, is like the 5th or 6th person on the team to join. So if he wants to take credit, fine. But yes.
And he's not going to Vegas. So
yeah. So yes, as Eric mentioned last week, we're going to Vegas next month for the Galactic Championship, which should be a lot of fun. And this week is pre-release for Legends of the Force. I think it looks really cool. There's a lot of fan favorite characters coming. I mean, obviously every set has them, but this is mostly Jedi, and it includes Avar Kriss as a leader, which is super cool. Vernestra Rowe has a card. Also Markion Rowe. There's some Purgle cards. The
Legacy Run ship from the intro
run.
of Trial of That's when I knew this was for the sickos. Like for this, like when I started looking it up, because I got into it once a lot of the preview cards you guys had shown had already come out, and I'm like, wait, the ship.
Yeah,
from
that was
the introduction of Light of the Jedi has a card.
And it's like, what's weird about it is it's iconic for the High Republic, but it's not that cool looking of a ship. It's
really
flying
dull.
triangle. And they picked that. The dude, so there's one guy on the development team who kind of oversees the lore introductions and what cards get what. He is a sicko. Like there's a card for Inferno 4, which if you've read Inferno Squadron is a book only character. I don't know why he didn't name her, but I guess they were like, well, no one knows who that is.
Nope.
There's Iden, Dell, and Gideon, and who are in the video game, and spoiler alert, Inferno 4 was not in the video game.
Yeah.
So yeah, we shared when the High Republic characters were announced, and y'all were like, "Okay, this is it. I'm in."
Yep.
Oh, there's the Inferno
Hold
4
on.
card part of it, at least.
There you go.
Wes is on fire tonight.
You're doing great, Wes.
I think I played
Corey
that
just,
card
like, keep you
actually.
in line. Yeah, I was gonna
I
say.
played it on Force Table. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's a very solid turn one play for most blue decks, or blue villainy decks. I should be clear. Yeah, anyone who listens to the Cosmic Force, you know that is now a Star Wars Unlimited podcast, and I'm going to do my darndest to make this one good.
I mean, you started out pretty well. Like, like I said in the intro, just like Corey and I are heading to 2 local pre-release events. Because obviously not having gotten in on the previous sets, we've never been to those before. We've gotten some decks. I have now started going to the gym every day because I'm in my 30s and I need to control my blood pressure. But to make me go on the weekends, there's a card shop on the way to my gym, so I buy myself a pack of cards every time I go on the weekends as a reward.
Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little thing of like, hey, good job, you went to the gym. Get your serotonin cardboard.
Next Monday, you definitely got to save some of your new packs and open them on the show. See what you get.
Oh, well, I'll see, because I think on Sunday we are or somewhere around there we're planning to open up our boosters together.
Yeah. So every time.
Yeah. Explain pre-release for everybody.
I was gonna say every time new sets come out, me and Jacob and Tyler in the Discord, and I think a couple of other people have jumped in. We hop on a Zoom call and just sit and open packs.
Yep. We'll be doing
really
that
fun.
Sunday night.
Pre-releases are great. You go and you get a box that has 6 packs of cards in it. You open it up and you build a deck right there. It's very low pressure, very fun. The whole time people are like getting their pre-orders and opening cards. People are pulling cool stuff. There's no stakes because a lot of places don't even do prizing anyway. They're just like, come and play and don't worry about it. Sometimes you get a pack per win, whatever. And then in 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks, is that there's stakes in Vegas. So that is a different thing. There's still room at the event. I mean, not in the main event, but you can still go. If anyone wants to get into the game right now, like Eric did, and come to Las Vegas.
I mean, you'll be shocked at how easily you do that.
Yeah.
That one day you're buying a pre-release or a starter set, just 2 nice little Luke and Vader decks, and then you're like, well, here's my Nala Say deck, and here's my Kaz deck, and here's my Sabine deck, and here's my Han Solo deck I'm working on, and here's my trade binder. I mean, if anyone's got trades, hit me up, and we'll figure out what we can do.
Yeah, it's been really fun, and like there's just so many resources on it because I've been so concerned about like, oh, am I gonna be able to catch up with it? And obviously like Oz and Jacob and Tyler and everyone and our buddy Michael have been so wonderful getting me into the game, but there's so many online resources that we've talked about, like the Caravast and the Force Table, and all the nerds have like itemized the decks and min-maxed them and put them online, so you don't have to spend 4 hours doing that yourself, which I find extremely
all the
helpful.
smart people do all the work for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what a great hobby to get into. And I guess Wes. So I know I'm doing some or I guess I didn't ask Oz. Do you have pre-releases scheduled for this week?
Yeah, sorry, I just knocked something over under my desk, so I was off screen for a sec. I'm also in part of the judge program, so I judge events. So I will be working one pre-release on this Saturday, and then playing one that evening at the same store. So I'll be there all day. Just
amazing.
Yeah, just playing and again, judging for this thing is really low stakes. It's just like, hey, I don't know what this brand new card does because I've never seen it. And I'll help him. At the big events, judging is a little higher pressure, but Jacob got me into that. We get some cool promo cards from it. It's fun.
Yeah, and everyone, he's going to be judging an event and doing an event that night, the same day at a card shop all day, and he is happily married. It can happen for you too.
I'm married. Everybody. I have children. You find time.
Look at that. It's all.
Dude, if I had gotten into something like this when I was single, you would never see me. I would be up 7 days a week. The problem is I didn't have money back then.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm always like, that's why I never got into Magic, because I was like, oh, how much? Oh, I make 23 grand a year. I cannot.
Money bags over there.
I know, right? Oh my goodness. My dad's blood pressure went up when he saw my tax returns in my 20s. What good times. Guys, getting
So,
good. Wes, are you
Um,
going to pre-release?
there are a couple card shops around my area. I
Uh-huh.
might be able to swing a couple of the pre-release things. We have pre-ordered quite a few of. Or I've pre-ordered 2 of the starter decks. One for my buddy, one for me. And then just this past week, we sat at his kitchen table and we opened a box of Jump to Lightspeed. So we both opened 12 packs apiece and just went through them.
fun.
That was
so
that was
fun.
a great time. But along the lines of y'all, I guess opening some of your pre-release stuff, we were talking about doing an unboxing of one of the Carbonite boxes. We were like, should we go in on this?
Yeah.
So we see the cool shit that comes out of that thing, and it better be for $290.
Well,
But
that's the fun part. Sometimes it's not.
that's not the fun part.
Carbonite boxes are, for those who don't know, they're in Magic. They're called collector boosters. I think they're basically more expensive packs, but they have fancier stuff in it. It's all the same cards, but with cooler, better art.
Yeah,
and,
it doesn't
higher
make you a
hit rate.
better player. That's
Right.
the key thing.
Correct.
But it makes you a flashier and a cooler looking player.
Yeah.
That's the key. It's like
You
skins.
Yeah, it's like
That's
Lando
all it is.
Calrissian's capes. You just,
Yeah.
change your capes. One thing I did want to mention was the cool thing about Star Wars Unlimited is I'm sure this is with other games too, is the sealed tournaments where you show up and you open up. I think it's something along the lines of the pre-release stuff where you open, your packs, you make a deck of 30 and you play. But like when you have sealed tournaments, I guess you pull or you just get a bunch of packs, you make your deck within those packs that you pulled, and you don't have time to put together the best pack that you've ever seen in your life by somebody that's been doing it for years and years and years. Well, I guess years and years, hasn't been out that long, but
For year and year.
yeah, I think the idea of sealed tournaments really is intriguing. I think I want to try one of those first before I actually get into anything else.
Yeah, so that's what the pre-release is. It's
Okay.
sealed or limited. One of my favorite ways to play is draft, which is the same idea, and you can check to see if a store around you runs it. But everyone gets 3 packs, and you open one at a time. You take a card, you pass the rest of the stack.
Oh.
And then you do the next pack, and so you're building a 30 card deck, but it's like you don't know what all cards you're gonna have access to, and you kind of got to make a decision of what you're gonna go for. But also, like, now there's higher levels of thinking that I am not great at, but like, okay, well, it seems like there's a lot of this color, so maybe this guy's playing this color, and I got to think about what I'm going to do in response. Because you can see the leaders people chose, the 3 leaders, but you don't know what cards they have until obviously.
Okay.
You play 'em.
Well, here's my
But
question for you, Oz, because I did watch a draft video recently. Like when I'm at the gym, I'm watching YouTube of Star Wars Unlimited because of the monster you've created.
I think you have more YouTube videos about the game than I have, and I've been playing.
Well, because I haven't played
hardcore
as much,
for a
I gotta
long
catch
time.
up. When you're playing draft and cards are just going around, do you get things where you find like a legendary that you just really want in your binder? It's out of aspect, you can't play it, and you just take it anyway.
Yeah, so every pack has 1 guaranteed rare or legendary, and sometimes up to 3. And yes, especially when I was new and like bad at deck building, and B, didn't have much of a collection. I'm like, okay, well, the rare gets picked no matter what,
Because I just want it.
and also like if you open like a pack that has a $30 card in it, you'd be dumb not to take it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not going to help you win that night, but it's like you paid $20 to play, and if you get a $30 card, you made a profit. Now, that's
Exactly.
if you sell the card, which I never.
If you sell the card,
Which we
right?
never do.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
like-
the problem.
It's theoretical value, like stock
Mhm.
or crypto, as we mentioned before.
Yeah, exactly. It all comes back to crypto. See Superman in theaters, July 11th, crypto.
Okay. Yeah.
That's our sponsor for the night, actually. Superman the movie. Yeah, I'm really stoked about it. And I'm also really glad to be getting in on this set for the pre-release stuff, because again, us being who we are, especially with the High Republic winding down, we just had our big Trials of the Jedi boost. The fact that there are High Republic characters now being pushed so hard in this set, as well as a lot of other sicko stuff, like the father, the mother, and the son, or the father, the son, and the daughter from Rebels and the Mortis Gods are in this set. Like,
There's
that's
Altar
awesome.
and Asajj that is a a diptych.
Yep.
It's 2 cards that match up, and it's clearly Dark Disciple.
Yep, that's amazing. Like
Very cool.
that's all books that goes up. There's Loth Wolves. There's Doom specific. There's the Bendu. Like a lot of Rebels love in this.
The Bendu.
Like Cal Kestis finally getting the Jedi Fallen Order stuff. Like this really does feel like if you have been a fan of Star Wars in the last 5-6 years of even the non-television stuff, there's a lot of cool stuff, I think, and that's my biggest problem is that if there's a character that I like that gets drawn, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, oh it doesn't fit, but I really love Gunji. You know what I mean?
Well, good news,
well,
Gunji's
no,
a
that's
very good
unfortunate.
card.
Good is a very good card. Yeah, no, he's a 2-drop 2/5. I need to get some Gunji in
with
my
the
life.
lingo.
I find
I'm
this
getting there.
I find this a very good excuse also, like when you're organizing, because I know organizing can take quite a bit, is to listen to your audiobooks while you're organizing.
Yep.
Like,
I've done that a lot.
I've done that a lot.
Two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I bought the binders that Oz told me about. I've color coded them by set.
Oh.
Although
Oz, are
that's
you a
where I
binder
say-
guy, or are you you're a binder
Oh,
guy?
God,
You're not
you did it.
a
You've
storage
done
a storage
this
box guy. Okay, you're a binder guy.
Yeah, I've got him. I just happen to keep him next to my
But
desk.
also you have boxes though. This is not an either or
I've got- yeah.
situation.
All my
I'm not calling
bulk-
you a liar, but yeah, okay.
all my
Yeah.
bulk is in here.
Okay.
And this used to be so much more, but I send it to people because I'm like, I don't need this. You end up with
Right.
a lot of cards you don't need.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's a great way to help other people get into the game by giving them free stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, honestly, like, my local shop. This happened to me. I think I might have said this on the show before. Every shop I've heard of that does Star Wars Unlimited, specifically, like this community really seems to be very into getting people to play the game. I mean, I brought Corey to my shop. He walked out with a stack of cards. I walked out with a stack of cards, and it just gets you started. Because then you get your own, and then you keep on going, and like, it's just such a welcoming. It's just a welcoming community, and it's very exciting. I'm very excited to go to my 2 shops this week. I get 2 events, so I'll get 6 packs at each of those, and then I bought a booster box with 24 packs, so I'll get like 36 packs of cards by next show. I'll let everybody know. But I guess what I want to round out with tonight, going into our pre-release event, we're very excited about this. This is what we're going to talk about when there's no Star Wars TV anymore. It's just Star Wars Unlimited. Oz, for your playing event Saturday night.
Oh yeah.
You've looked at all the cards already. We've been talking about them in our Discord, which is a part of our community. What leader are you hoping to get? What kind of deck, if you got your druthers, would you want to play at pre-release?
See, I have seen most of the cards. I have not studied them. A lot of people like know the deck, the stuff inside and out. They've already been practicing with like unreleased cards.
Yep.
I need an Avar Chris showcase. Like I need that. I want to play her because I think it's an interesting leader. I think it's a thinking leader, which is not great for me because the leader I play mostly is Sabine, and it is not a thinking leader.
She go bang, bang, bang,
Yeah,
bang. I
very-
play Kylo mono red, dude. Sometimes I know. Sometimes just turn it off.
But I want to play that. The new I don't know. The new Anakin leader is pretty interesting.
I agree.
He doesn't have a color. He's just heroism, so you're a little more limited in your deck building. But he can also play dark side and light side cards, so that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
What is?
But
Cool.
I just want to have a good time.
Just gonna have fun.
We should have a good time.
I like that.
I do want to shout out Force Table because that really helped me learn the rules of the game.
Yes.
So that's if anybody doesn't know, it's just a website that basically has a lot of the starter decks on there, or all the starter decks on there, I guess, and just helps you learn the ins and outs of the game, the rules. There's a log that shows you how the other player, like you're playing against a computer. We say the AI, but you're playing against a computer, and it'll tell you the move that they made, and the reason that maybe one of your cards was wiped off the board, or one of your cards wiped their card off the board. So I mean, I will watch TV, and there's a reason now that my laptop is in my living room, and it's not good. It's not good. I don't pay attention as much as I should. But I could run through 30 damn games, but doing those repetitions has really helped me understand the game, and then help me teach my friends how to play when they have questions about it. So I think it's very helpful, and I hope it doesn't get shut down because.
Oh no!
It does.
I think Force Table is somewhat official. The other ones, Jack and Carabast, are 100% not official.
Okay.
They have to be known about by now. It's very
right.
Force Table is shown on streams of of people that Fantasy Flight sends boxes to.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
they're using it in official sponsored streams.
They
so.
did notate that this is all like this is not a property of it's not a property of Star Wars media, and the copyright's all Star Wars and all that. So I was like, okay, they're
Although
trying.
they do have a Patreon, and
They do,
apparently if
right.
you play that.
Yeah.
They open up a mode where you can make a pre-release deck. So we'll see how it happens this week. But I think I'm close enough that I'm just gonna give it a whirl. But I don't know. It'll be a fun week. I think I want to play with Kit Fisto. Has a lot of cool Jedi stuff. Snoke looks pretty cool.
Oh my God, there's so many characters. I didn't even think about Snoke being
Yeah,
one.
we didn't even mention Darth Revan is in it.
Darth
Malik
Revan
has
is
a card.
Oh yeah, Darth Revan has also a game mat that if you go to Vegas with me and Oz, and you get a premium ticket, which I believe are still available, you get a Revan game mat, and
Darth
it's one
Revan
of the
game
coolest
mat.
things I've ever seen.
Can't
All
wait.
right, everybody, go play Star Wars Unlimited this week. We'll let you know how it goes next week. Literally can't wait. And after we get off stream, I'm gonna figure out when we're gonna get on Zoom and open up all our packs and see if we can convince Wes to buy a booster before Sunday night. But on that note, everybody, you'll have to wait for that news because that is gonna do it for this week's episode of the Youtini Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back next week to get you all caught up on everything going on in Star Wars. Until then, go buy some boosters, make some friends, have fun, be good to each other, and as always, may the Force be with you.